We are doing something fun today, and this is something that we don't do very often. But
What,
we are
something
going
fun? I thought we do a lot of things that are fun.
This item we don't make very often,
Oh,
so
yes, yeah.
we are going to make cake pops. Well, and we actually made a bunch of cake pops yesterday already.
We are all practiced up for this, so we're
as
good to
long
go.
as we're kind of in the mood for making cake pops, we have a little upcoming party for about 30 or 40 of our
so we can-
closest friends and family.
Sure.
So we thought it would be fun to use up that extra cake that we had in the freezer.
It's a great way to use up the cake that are mistakes or whatever they are.
Yeah. So before we start making these, rolling these into balls, the dipping part of it, which obviously takes a little while to melt, I take some ambrosia chocolate, and this happens to be like a milk chocolate. We already have some chocolate already cooking, or baking, melting. Sorry.
Cooking.
So,
you just got this cooking with Ruth thing stuck in your head.
So we're just going to add just a
It's a new name
little.
for the show. It's going to be called Melting with Ruth.
Melting with Ruth, because it's a hot day.
Yeah.
So we're just going to add a little bit more of the chocolate, and then we're going to add a few chocolate chips.
Should I bring the pan over, or are you bringing this over?
Yeah, why don't you bring the pan over here?
Okay.
And then we can just kind of show them what we've got going. So I use a double boiler, and my old double boiler was taller, if you remember.
I do remember that.
So it was a little bit easier doing some of the melting, because when it melted, the circumference wasn't so large,
Right.
But we have to make do with what we have. So we have a double boiler, and we already have some melted. I'm just going to add some of this extra chocolate to let that continue melting.
Do I need to turn this up a little higher?
So,
to get it going?
when I'm melting it to get it going, if you can see, if you have a double boiler, basically put enough water in so that it's not really touching the bottom of your pan, but you're going to keep it just kind of boiling on the bottom. And then I'm just going to add some extra chocolate chips.
Okay, so you have milk chocolate and semi-sweet.
Right. So people are going to wonder, how much do you put in? Well, I guess as much as you're going to need.
Well, whatever you want.
So
and whatever's left over, you just throw in some dry roasted peanuts, and you have peanut clusters.
Exactly.
It's that simple.
So this is kind of like my mother's recipe. You just throw a little bit of this.
I'm going to put this over on the stove and get this going.
So while I continue with our actually making the cookie balls. So what I'm going to do, I have these different things out here, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. So what I do, I have this great big old Tupperware, and typically when we either have a big cake that, as I'm trying to get it out of the pan, part of the bottom sticks. I never want to throw anything away.
Take that big gummy stuff from the bottom,
so
or when you're leveling cakes.
Then you take the top off.
If you have a large, like a half sheet cake, you need to level it down. You take that crown off.
Yesterday we had about 3/4 of a pan, or a box.
A box of this.
Of cake. So these look kind of ugly. I'm not sure what I did wrong on these. I forgot.
But it doesn't matter.
The
When you do something wrong, it always comes out into something better.
It does.
Which is called a cake pop.
So
we are good to go with this. Now.
So on this part, we just took off the outsides, the cupcake liners.
You want some? I'm going to interfere here. Do you want your frosting out?
Yes.
Okay.
So we took off the cupcake liners and just threw those into the box that I had already started with some other kind of cake. And as you can see, you're going to just take your cake and just crumble it. Now, if you don't make a lot of cake, that you're not going to have a lot of mistakes, then what you would do is you can just bake a regular box cake. If you want to do a box cake, you could probably buy a cake. Maybe they have like the U-Bake stores if you don't bake. But you want to do something fun like this, and then just bake your cake. The difference with what we do is we're always making our cake pops from already cold, made cake. But the recipe that I have actually calls for making your cake and then just immediately taking it out of the pan and crumbling it.
While it's warm.
And
then mix the frosting in.
Right. So if you had a normal, 9x13 pan, then you would add about 2 to 3 cups of frosting.
Okay.
And again, it's kind
It's a
of
little hard.
however you feel it seems like the right.
And this frosting's been in the refrigerator, so it needs to be
yes.
softened up. Do you want me to get a large wooden spoon?
Sure, if you want to. So I should have taken the frosting out a little bit sooner. I typically have frosting in the refrigerator, so I don't, have to
Let's get a little larger
go to the
spoon
store and buy any. The recipe, in case you don't make homemade frosting, the recipe actually calls for one of those containers of already made frosting.
Pre-made frosting
Pre-made
in the
frosting.
bakery aisle.
I'm not sure if I don't think I've ever bought a container of pre-made frosting, but I think that would be 2 to 3 cups probably in that container.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to do this like immediately, you could
this
probably pop it into the microwave
Should
for
I do
just
that
a
now?
minute. But otherwise,
Is this gonna be okay?
just keep stirring a little bit and
Okay.
it's going to be fine.
Okay.
And then we're just going to add it into our cake mix and then have it so that your cake is no longer crumbly at all. So that's kind of the determining factor of if you have enough frosting in
Right.
there, okay? So this is actually an espresso icing that we had left over from
How's this doing?
that's fine. So you just
Should I put it in there?
Just put that in there. And if you have to, just work it with our hands. So it's not quite like having this in the espresso cake, because the recipe I used, there was espresso in both the cake and the frosting. So I'm just going to use my hands, get down and dirty here.
So really, this is a way to use the, reach over here. It's a way to use up excess cake and excess frosting.
For us,
Yeah,
absolutely.
For us.
Yeah. And it's nice, sometimes if I have to make if I'm making a dessert and I have extra, depending on like what size round cakes I make, and we might have had too much frosting in here.
Did I put too much in?
You might have.
It's gonna be extra rich.
It will be, yeah. In fact, some that we made yesterday turned out really fudgy. But it's always nice because sometimes if I'm making like a smaller 2-layer cake and you have some extra cake batter, then
Yep.
you can just make some cupcakes,
Okay.
And then if you have the extra frosting on hand, then that should be good. That's
Okay.
mixing in
Is it mixing in? Is it
really
well enough?
well.
Good
Yep,
enough?
so you want to just make sure that it's all mixed in. This is almost like playing with Play-Doh.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
Okay,
A
now
lot better to eat than Play-Doh.
a lot
though.
better. I remember eating Play-Doh when we were kids.
Okay, so this is a several step process, and this is why we have some, although you can see the difference in the color.
Right.
You didn't have as much in
And
there.
color really
Yeah.
has
doesn't
nothing to do with the
matter.
flavor.
No.
You can do it for any color cake. We like to mix all the different flavors together, so that's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Okay,
Now, you
so
wanna set
so
this in
our
the fridge?
first- Yeah, so our first step is going to be adding the frosting to your cake, okay?
Like you
After
just did.
Crumble.
Now we're
And
going
then
to refrigerate this for
refrigerate.
probably what would, if you were in
Well-
a process, you'd do it like half an hour?
Half
probably?
hour, 45 minutes.
Okay.
Or if you kind of forget and you're busy, then
Yeah.
you can just, take it out anytime.
Mm-hmm.
So then the next thing we're going to do is just make this into some cake balls. And now we've had this in the refrigerator for quite a while.
Right.
So that would be your second step then, having it all set to go.
You just kind of,
And we typically make the
Too
cake
small?
ball a little bit too small.
it's easy
About-
to
yeah.
add if you made it a little too small, or take away if you made it too large.
In the old days, they'd say the size of a walnut, but how many kids today probably know just what
Yeah.
a big walnut
Well, you can
that's
make them
not
any,
cracked.
yeah, you can make them any size
is.
you want. You can make them ping pong ball size, or
You want
smaller
a
probably than a
really
ping pong ball.
huge one, you could make a gigantic one.
Anything you want.
Michael would absolutely love that.
Anything
It's
you want.
his-
That's
One
right.
of his favorite things to eat, of course, is cake.
There's a piece for you.
Okay.
It's probably too large.
While I finish doing
Oh, I need
Yes,
to go.
do you
I need
wanna
to go.
check that
I need to
chocolate?
stir the chocolate.
So while we have this going, then we've got the chocolate continuing to melt. So then, you want to turn it down. So when you melt the chocolate, you probably want to get it started in your double boiler on, kind of a medium high. temperature. Okay, so what Gary's going to do now is put some cake pop sticks in each one. Okay,
And you want to put them in
right in the middle.
the
center.
middle and not, you can feel when you get close to the board. Try to not push them through because you can have difficulty when you're dipping if you go all the way to the bottom. They'll sometimes, the ball will tend to run down and not stay on the stick. Because the next step we're going to do after the sticks are in is we're going to put them in the freezer. Like that.
Okay, so we got those all set to go.
Right.
So these are going in the freezer now.
And we
just
have some prep to
happen
go.
to have some all set to go. So I think the first time I had made cake pops, well, the recipe actually says roll them, put the stick on, and then immediately dip them. But if
Right.
you do that, you'll have just a terrible time.
It's a mess.
As the cake pops start getting a little bit softer,
Right.
then they'll tend to just fall off your stick, and it's a horrible mess.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to take these over. Is the chocolate all
It's all
finished?
set.
You can actually bring that over here.
I could do that.
Typically, we
Make
would
it
just
easier.
leave it.
Yeah, there's
on
so few
the-
to do. We
Yeah,
can do
so
that.
typically we would just leave it on the stove.
That's if you're
and-
doing like hundreds of them or 50 to 100 at a time, you want to leave it on the stove.
Yeah.
But this way we're,
We're just going to do a few here. So when you then, after you're ready to, to start dipping your chocolate, then this board, as you can probably see, I've used several times. So you want to dip it, kind of roll it around, get as much chocolate off. If you want to kind of demonstrate.
sure.
And if you're on having it on the stove, as you get down to a little bit of chocolate, then you can kind of tip your pan so that you
Right.
can bring all the chocolate
But there's
together.
plenty in right now. You can dip it in and then you just tap it.
And then
Get
as
the
you're,
excess
as you're
off and you
tapping,
can roll it a little
and you
bit.
want to make sure that you've got some chocolate on right by the top of
the
your
top.
stick,
Mhm.
because then that'll also keep your cake ball on there
Right.
from falling down.
And if you tap it and turn it, keep rotating while you tap it, that chocolate that's in there will cover up the stick for the most of the time until you get to the bottom of the pan.
Kind of give it a nice little roll too as you're doing that. So as far as the type of like styrofoam that you're going to use, you can buy these round boards, and then after Gary's done here, then we're just going to stick it right in the board. And before we stick it in the board, I actually put a piece of cardboard on the bottom, which I have taped to the bottom, because we discovered a long time ago that when you put your sticks through, they will go right through the styrofoam. So typically I would put them in the styrofoam, and I'd have the styrofoam on a cookie sheet or some kind of a board. And then if I was going to transfer them to something else, then that's not a problem. But if you actually want to keep them on the styrofoam to then give to somebody, as a little gift or
Right.
something, then you're going to want to have the cardboard or something on
So
the
they
bottom.
don't fall through.
Exactly. Some of the other cardboard or some of the other styrofoam that we have gotten is just this foam. So Gary, because it tends to be kind of expensive, and if you're
Yeah,
giving
it's
it
not a cheap item.
right, so Gary got a big piece of foam. So we cut that into like 3 pieces, and so then it kind of goes a little bit further,
We're good there.
and that's how you do it. Now, if you want to be really fancy, as you can, probably have seen, some people will put elaborate faces on, and I've done a few
Faces and all the
faces.
funny little things. They're cute. and everything,
Right.
But that's really time consuming.
Exactly. Or you could drizzle after they're all
Oh, sure.
cooled down. You could drizzle, something on them to make them really cute. So as
It all
Gary,
depends on how much time you have.
yeah,
What do you want to put into it?
continues. I'm just gonna move this down.
Okay.
As he continues finishing this up, I'm going to show you what we did yesterday. Oh, and as far as the sticks, I actually bought my sticks. I buy a lot of our catering supplies through the Webster store online, and I think I bought this bag says 500. So I think I bought 500 sticks, because when we end up making our cake pops, we can sometimes make 200 or 250.
Yeah.
So if you buy sticks in like a quantity of 25, I think many of the stores sell them, then they go really quickly. And this is also more cost effective.
If someone said, well, I don't have a lot of scraps, but if I made a box cake, And how many of this size pops would you make? Like 25, 30,
One
35?
box cake would yield at least 80 to 100 cake pops, depending on
Oh,
what
okay.
size. If you made them this size, because I think
Right.
I think what we had in that box yesterday, I think we did about 80 or so
Okay,
yesterday.
yeah,
So it's
okay.
going to yield between 80 and 100, again,
Okay,
depending on
their size.
the size that you make them.
Yeah.
And when we go, there's a lot of things that I make, that I like to make, but there's certain things, if I'm going to make it, I'm going to make a lot because it's putsy, it's time consuming.
Do it at one time.
Do it one time. Okay, so now these are done. They are, nice job, Gary. Ready
Thank
to
you.
go in the
fridge.
refrigerator.
And we
And
have space. Oh,
now
what
what
do we
I'm
have
going
here?
to do is take these out.
Little
So
show and
this is
tell
just a
now.
little
This is the
sample
finished
of what
product.
we did yesterday. So like I said, we've got a little party coming up on this weekend on Sunday for about 30 or 40 people. So cake pops is going to be one of the desserts.
Yeah.
So I had some red velvet that was in the, I guess that was just topping, taking the top off of a cake
Yeah.
that I was making. So we made some red velvet with red velvet with cream cheese icing
Right.
in the middle.
Correct.
And then did the white chocolate. So I had white almond bark
Yeah.
and then some white chocolate chips for that. Okay, so these are our red velvet. And then the rest of these were all chocolate with lots of fudge icing.
Right.
Okay, and some have the white chocolate, and the rest have the other chocolate. But just to show you what happens when you don't do a very good job.
When you push the stick all the way through the bottom, when you're rolling the ball and you stick the stick in, if you go too far, that's what can happen when you roll it into the frosting.
Or what
into the-
happens is
the
if
dip.
it gets too soft,
Yes.
then they also start coming down, and then Gary feels obligated to eat them.
Yeah.
So we don't want to do that.
Obviously,
So
they're
anyway,
inferior.
so that's
We'd never want to give them even to our guests.
just
so
a little bit
they're mine for a
of
snack tonight.
what happens when you kind of make a little mistake.
Yeah.
So, but they are good enough to eat. And I don't know if you want one. I think we had a couple yesterday, so we might
not so
wait
sure.
for the weekend on this one.
I think so.
So, is there anything else I've forgotten? It's
I
a
think we're
few
good.
step process.
Yeah. But it's fun to make.
It's fun to make.
Fun to make and easy to do.
So this is how you make cake pops.
Fantastic.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this episode of Cooking with Ruth and Gary. So until next time, happy cooking.
What am I doing now? I don't know what that big knife is for, but
That's
all we're
gonna
doing is
be-
rolling
It's just
cake
going to be
pops.
to cut a little bit.
I thought maybe that's to keep me at bay.
got
I didn't
a
mean what I
knife.
said.
I got a
Honest, I didn't.
Anytime you guys are ready.
Put that knife
Let's see, I
down.
should probably